The importance of the shelter for abused and battered women is that it provides a sanctuary for them to escape quite frankly, the hell that they're going through in that environment. They don't need to be going through that. They need sanctuary. They need a place where they can go. And then from that place, turn around their lives, rescue themselves personally, rescue their families, and get themselves and their families going in the right direction. There are 8,000 women in Philadelphia every year who are turned away because we don't have enough space. We've got to change that. I'm committed to working to make a significant change in that statistic. We all got to work together to see a brighter future, to let these women, as I said, get out of the hell that they're in, the turmoil that they're in, so they can figure out a new way forward. First of all, thank you to all of you for doing all the work necessary to pull this project together. In fact, Leanna, we should just give them a round of applause for everything that you've done. There's a lot that could be said, but nothing that I could say would be any more significant than Senator Washington's comments and her own story and Sheila's story and the many women who have come to utilize this facility just for, at the very least, a place of sanctuary, to rescue themselves from a traumatic situation that they probably felt there was no other place to go. And so maybe the bigger issue that I could speak to is, you know, when they talk about cuts and budget cuts, and they talk about changing programs, and they talk about changing the RCAP program where this money came from, when they talk about sequestration in Washington, D.C. and reducing spending, basically in the end what it comes down to is it talks about taking money away from programs like this. It talks about taking money, what they're talking about is taking away our ability, Senator Washington's and my ability to drive dollars to Women Against Abuse, to get to real programs in real neighborhoods to satisfy the needs of real people. And we all have got to be very conscious about that. The redesign of our RCAP program, where these dollars came from, we were fortunate to get this in before they made the big change, Senator Washington, goes to fund big hotels and fancy shopping plazas and all those kinds of places. And they have their place, they have their position, they have their presence and a necessary presence in our society. But these are just as important, and in fact, in many ways, more important. And so when you think about policy decisions, when you think about, well, why should I vote, or why should I get engaged, or why should I come to the community meeting, or why should I talk? I know all of you are fully engaged here. But when you speak to your friends, it's so that folks like Leanna Washington and I, and most especially Senator Washington, because she doesn't believe it, but I follow her lead, all right? She don't believe it a lot, all right? Yeah, yes, right. But it allows us to have an increased voice to support programs like this. And when the economy is tighter, when things are getting more difficult, when it's hard to make ends meet, people don't necessarily turn to each other, they wind up turning on each other. And you know what happens. And so that means that we need your voice to help us create more spaces like this. And Senator Washington knows I want one of these out on the west side, okay? All right? And if we can make that happen, we're going to make that happen, okay? But we need your help. But beyond that, I wanted to show my wife and my mom, who's here. You remember Senator Washington, all right? Another lifesaver, all right? Some of the fruits of what it is that we do. And you're right, Leanna, it's not about our names on the walls. It's not about plaques attached to a wall. It's what happens behind that wall and the service that's provided there. That's what motivates us. It's the good work that you're doing. Keep on doing it, and we're right there with you, lockstep. We ain't going nowhere. We're right there with you. Thank you very much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to be here today to celebrate this special occasion with Women Against Abuse. And this event is so special to me because less than 10 years ago, I lived in an apartment right over here, right next to us. To see the renovations and the extra unit added is truly a blessing, because what it means to me is that it's more hope for women. Each one of these units represents hope. Okay, I went through the whole process of Women Against Abuse. I started at the emergency shelter, straight from Lincoln Hospital, because I didn't have nowhere to go. From the emergency shelter, I came here because I didn't have to go. The reason why Women Against Abuse, the reason why Women Against Abuse is so special to me is for so many reasons. One is they sit there and open the doors for me to have peace in my life, hope in my life, encouragement when I didn't see nothing, when I saw darkness. And I tell people, it was in the emergency shelter where the cafeteria lady, Miss Agatha, who just talked to me, where I sat there and opened my relationship with God. You know, it was here in this apartment where I actually learned to talk to God. And because it was like, well, Lord, I don't know what else to do. To me, it was the bottom of the bottom. I was at the pits of the pits. I ain't had no job no more because I couldn't work no more because of my injuries. I didn't have a safe haven. I didn't know where to live. Unless you talk to other women that been through this situation and stuff, to feel hopeless, that is nowhere you want to be, because you start thinking negative. You start thinking about taking your own life. But thank God that I did have my son with me at the time, because I was able to see him and give me hope. So that was hopeful to me. I personally, on behalf of all the past clients, the present clients, and the future clients of Women Against Abuse, I thank each one of y'all that contributed, raised money, volunteer, put the word out, because believe it or not, it makes a difference. It has an impact. And best believe, you got 15 units here, you're helping 15 more Sheilas just like me. Okay? It's not a unit, it's a person, it's me. You know what I mean? These women is going through the same thing I went through. They don't know what tomorrow may bring them. But thank God that there's people here at Women Against Abuse and the community that sit there and bring hopeless people hope. And that is such a powerful thing. That is such a very powerful thing. You know, it was so funny, because when they told me I was speaking, I was like, well, what I'm going to say? And I was like, but what I was going to say, you know, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for all of y'all. You know, that's what all I want to say is thank you. I tell people all the time, you don't understand unless you walk through the shoes or you've been through my shoes or anything. You think I got my life right, but it is nowhere near right. I'm just now getting it stable. You know, and that's what we're offering. We're offering people stability, safety, hope, love, encouragement. You know, where they might feel as though nobody cares about them, but here we do. Okay? You don't believe them? Ask them. Talk to a social worker. Talk to even the security. One thing that I love about Women Against Abuse, anybody you have in contact with this organization will support you and encourage you and give you hope. And to be in a place like this is a blessing to me. So again, I thank everyone that contributed to this project. I just say thank y'all so much for everything you do. I pray that God continue to bless each and every one of you, okay? Because without him, trust me, who knows? You know, so that's my fallback on now. I fall back there. And I just sit there and just pray that y'all keep doing what y'all doing, because y'all excellent. And y'all may not see it. Sometimes I sit there and say, even like sometimes y'all just see numbers. You know, politicians see numbers, or you know, they don't know me. You know, that's why I be thinking they don't know me. But it was just a blessing. Like when I met with Senator Washington 2 years ago and we did the Tribune article, I was scared to meet her. You know, I'm like, wow, she politician. You know, they always seem mean on TV or something like that. You know, they do seem mean on TV. Like they ain't trying to talk to you. She was such a blessing. She was so down to earth, so encouraging. She was like, girl, I was in them shoes. This is what we're going to do. Da, da, da. And she encouraged me in that spirit and that spark. So I encourage you to sit there and encourage somebody else, because you never know when that encouragement, that spark will be like, all they need. And when I say that speech came to me in the midst of the time where I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what job I was going to have or nothing. But it was like, all right, well, she said it. Don't you put your head down there, girl. We got more work to do. Right. You know, and that's what it is. We all here got more work to do. You know, because like I said, it's more people out there that still need our help and our services, not just for housing, but just for counseling, anything. So I say thank you, and much greater thank you.